You're listening to Aviation Marketing Hangar Flying, the community for the best sales and marketing professionals in the aviation industry. You can't learn to fly just from a book. You learn from other pilots who know the tools, the skills, and the territory. Your hosts, John and Paula Williams, are your sales and marketing test pilots. They take the risks for you and share strategies, relevant examples, hacks, and how-tos. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes so you won't miss a thing.
Welcome to Aviation Marketing Hangar Flying, episode number 81. Today we are talking about MRO Marketing. I'm Paula Williams.
I'm John Williams.
And we are ABCI, and ABCI's mission is
to help all you ladies and gentlemen out there sell more products and services in the aviation world.
Absolutely. And MRO marketing is one of the things that we were asked to talk about because it is a little different, right?
Yes, it is.
And a lot of folks in the MRO community, aircraft maintenance and overhaul and so on, are maybe marketing is not their forte. They've spent a lot of time learning how to do what they do, and they can be really, really brilliant, very technical people, but a lot of them haven't spent a whole lot of time on sales and marketing as a practice, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they haven't.
Yes, they haven't. So, anyway, if you have any questions on this or any other topic that we do, use the hashtag AvGeekMarketing on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere that you are comfortable talking, and we will watch for your comments and respond to those. You can also comment on our blog. That's probably the most reliable place to make sure that you get a response quickly, but we do watch the other social media as well, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay. All right, and we'll reply to any question as quickly as we can. Okay, so big ideas. We like to have 3 big ideas from every episode, and then we kind of go through them in more detail and summarize at the end. So the 3 big ideas about MRO marketing is, number 1, to focus on convenience, safety, and money. Not just on money, right? A lot of MRO marketing we've seen puts a lot of emphasis on the dollars.
True.
Okay. Number 2 is the market. People are renovating or upgrading their planes rather than selling and buying new.
Of course. The market's down right now.
Exactly. And a bad market for some people is a good market for other people, such as, for example, like you, if you're in the MRO business.
Yep.
And then the third thing is the ADS-B opportunity, with all aircraft being required to upgrade by 2020, except under very limited circumstances. This is an opportunity for a lot of people to be getting some new avionics and other fabulous things. So we'll talk about how to position yourself so that you're getting the most of that opportunity, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So first of all, let's talk about what people want out of their MRO organization other than a good deal, right?
Yes. Convenience, good customer service.
Right. And this is you and
Mike.
Yeah, exactly. At what used to be the Millionaire in Salt Lake City.
No, this wasn't Millionaire. This was
Leading Edge.
Yeah, it was a Leading Edge hangar, I think.
Okay, right. And Mike did a lot of custom maintenance on our 172s that we had leased back to the flight school there.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you like about Mike? What was really cool about him? I know you don't like a lot of people.
I like everybody.
You like everybody, but you're very particular about maintenance people.
About who works on my airplane. Heck yes.
Absolutely.
Well, he was extremely knowledgeable, extremely experienced, and would explain. He didn't mind me looking over his shoulder because I didn't get in the way. And he would explain to me what he was doing, and he, it was just, it was great. Right.
Yeah, he went way out of his way to make sure that he had time for our airplanes, I think, and did what you wanted done when you wanted it done. I'm not sure how he did that, but he somehow managed.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And the other thing, I don't know if you've seen that poster that a lot of people have in auto mechanic shops that say, here's the fee if you, here's the fee, and then here's the fee if you watch, and it's, $50 more, and here's the fee if you help, and that's $100 more, right?
Right. Well, I didn't help, but I just wanted to see, I actually wanted to stand back and take pictures, and he asked me to get involved and help because he knew my background, so I'd rebuilt engines before, so it wasn't a big deal for me, but he knew that.
Mm-hmm.
So he had no trouble with me holding a flashlight or doing whatever.
Right. And I think, everybody who gets their, brings their plane in for service has a different level of expectation. Some of them want you to do everything and hand it back to them with a white glove approach, and, they want you to pick it up and deliver it after the work is done. They don't want to have anything to do with the maintenance.
Well, actually, we know of a MRO facility, I don't know, South Dakota, North Dakota, somewhere up there, that they've got quite a large following, and what they will do is you call them from wherever you are. They will go pick up your airplane and bring it back to their facility, complete the annual or whatever needs to be done, and clean the airplane and take it back, and it'll be right in the chocks where they got it, and you will not know that it's ever been gone when you show up,
right,
except for the bill.
Other than the fact that there's a note there or a card, with the details of what service had been performed and what they found and everything else.
That's real service.
That is real convenience, exactly. And for a lot of folks, that matters a lot more than the money involved, right?
Exactly. And their fee for doing that was, aside from the cost of the flight back and forth, insignificant. They just did it, I think.
Right. And I think for a lot of folks, the cost is so high to have an airplane on the ground broken that they would prefer to pay a little more if you can accommodate their schedule, and if you can accommodate their needs like that. The pickup and delivery might be above and beyond what you can do, but there may be things that you can do to accommodate a schedule that are far more important than the money, depending on who your customer is and how much it's costing them to have their plane on the ground broken, right?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. So think about customization, think about convenience, and think about how you can advertise and market those things, especially as customer testimonials. If you can get a testimonial from somebody like John, who is picky as all get out, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, what happened prior to this picture was, you tried to start the airplane and the starter blew up. Quite literally. I mean, pieces were falling out. The engine started, but then there's pieces falling out from the cowl. And I was standing outside, thought you were going to go flying, and I said, just,
yeah, cut.
And then we pulled it in. So as he was going through replacing the starter, we looked at pieces and parts. I said, you know what, you got it apart. Let's just replace this, and let's, a few items, air filter, whatever. And so we did that along the way, which is why I like to look at stuff, because I like it right up to spec.
Right. And, when that starter engine blew, it was blowing little pieces of metal all through the cowling. So we didn't really know what was okay and what wasn't until we went through it piece by piece. So it was an education for us. We were kind of new to 172 ownership at that time. And, it was a good opportunity for us to see all the pieces and parts and how they all fit together and everything else.
And it started with the warranty item, so it was, Anyway.
Yeah, so, we really like mechanics who are also educators and willing to go through that with us. So that was really cool for us. But, whatever it is that your customers really like about your organization, and if you have a customer that you go above and beyond for, ask if they would mind if you write up a real brief testimonial and put it on your website, because that's the only way that other people will know, this is the difference between you and all the other guys out there, right? Okay, cool. One thing we really like, and we wish that MROs and, people in service industries or repeated service industries would do this more, is to do these little, we call them Jiffy Lube cards, right? Because Jiffy Lube kind of made them popular, but anybody can use this technique, when you do service on an aircraft, it is very likely that you can predict a time or at a number of hours or something, or the owner can predict for you when he's most likely to want to bring that back in. And
well, you can look at when you look at the maintenance logs, you can see the rough time frames.
Yeah.
And predict within a fair degree of certainty what's going to happen, when they're going to need something.
Right. So, you have a set of timed services, and then you also have a set of mileage, or whatever you want to call it, services. And either way, you can predict, I think, to a fair degree, when they're going to need service again. And you want to intercept them before they take their aircraft somewhere else.
Well, you could base it on either hours flown or date.
Exactly. So, they should be getting a postcard in their mailbox just about the time that they start thinking about taking that aircraft back in for a different kind of service, or the same service over again.
Exactly.
So, I think every MRO should be doing these kinds of service reminder cards.
At the minimum.
Yeah, absolutely. But very few actually do. So, very cheap, very easy. If you get this in a
very
system,
effective.
right, in a system like a CRM system, then it's fairly easy to do and easy to make happen and very inexpensive. So, all right. So that is convenience and service and customization. There's a lot that we could talk about there, but most of the MRO advertising that we see has more to do with price than it does to do with convenience and customization. So you want to think about all three of those factors. Convenience and customization are often more important than the money.
Sure. And once you get them and you get to know their aircraft, for repeat customers, other things that you could sell them.
Absolutely.
While the thing is in the shop.
Yep. So once again, that's thing number one. Thing number two is the market. The market has gotten so bad that if you pick up a controller magazine, there are very few prices even listed. They're all call for advice. Is that what the way they put it?
No, they say call for guidance.
Call for guidance on aircraft prices. So because of that, just about anybody who has an aircraft and does not have to sell it right now is not selling it.
And even in the business that we're in, we know of aircraft that are for sale that are not on the market.
Right.
And we're not even brokers.
Exactly. So, yeah, there's a lot of folks who would do a lot to not sell their aircraft. If they need to renovate, add new avionics, redo the interior, whatever they need to do, they'll often come out money ahead rather than trying to sell the airplane and buy something else. So
in the market right now, the only people that I had one or two brokers tell me the only people that really win right now are the first time, the people that jumping into the aircraft market the first time want to buy used.
Right. Exactly.
Or new, but better off used because the prices are way down. Way down.
Absolutely. So, you can run some pretty nice advertising and some pretty good offers, that are very appealing to people who, rather than upgrading their airplane, they typically upgrade their airplane every 4 years or, whatever their cycle is, may want to hold off on that for a year or two if they can, refurbish their interior one more time, get a new paint job. There's lots of things that they can do to make their old airplane serve their needs
a little longer.
A little longer, exactly. So if you can help them do that, that's a great way to focus your
and everybody
advertising
wins.
Right now. Right. Okay. Another opportunity that is in the works, of course, is ADSB. All GA aircraft will be required to have ADSB out equipment by 2020. There's actually a pretty good summary of this. The best that we've seen is an article by Stephen Pope. It's now a classic. It was written in 2014, so it's very old. But, we think it's probably one of the best explanations for lay people and, aircraft owners who may not be in the business of aircraft.
Yeah, at the time he says that only 3% of GA aircraft have ADS-B installed. This is 2.5 years ago. And only 10% of airlines had ADS-B installed.
Right. And a lot of people have been putting this off and putting it off. And this happens a lot in aviation. There's a lot of things that you have to do now, and there's other things that you will be thinking about in the future. But aviation people tend to be very deliberate about the decisions that they make, and also they tend to be very, I would say, as conservative and as late as possible on a lot of different things. But they are going to have to get this done if they're going to continue flying. So now is a really good time to start getting on their radar. And you may not sell them an ADS-B system or an ADS-B compliant system tomorrow, but you can get their attention now if you start providing some really good information about what's available from your shop, and you start becoming a source of information as they come up with questions or as they start talking and thinking about it.
Sure, and then the next time you have it in there and you have to tear into the dash for some reason, then you can tell them, it'd be a great time to go ahead and put ADS-B in there.
Right, because it'll save you the cost of...
You already got to be in there and just add another device.
Absolutely.
Depending on the aircraft, of course, you may have to modify the panel, but still, it's the time to do it.
Exactly. So, two things. One, you can certainly recommend that all of your folks get up to speed on ADS-B, so when your customers start talking to your technicians, they know what they're talking about. That's very important. And then the other thing is you can start planning to provide this information on your website. You could do, some blog posts or social media posts, what we call information snacks about ADS-B. Did you know that? While you're getting your annual is a good time to get ADS-B done because your aircraft is in the hangar anyway.
Or your phase inspection.
Lots of things that you could do to make that more palatable for people. One really good opportunity that you can do and that we can help you with is, of course, to create some kind of a fact sheet about the ADS-B solutions that you provide for the types of aircraft that you service. And you can get really specific about, here are some questions and answers about ADS-B and how it applies to this aircraft or that aircraft, or your area, or the avionics that are available from your shop.
And why your shop is a better choice than others.
Exactly. You could even do a comparison.
Yes.
Of the different ADS-B solutions and how one may be better than the other for whatever reason. So that could be something that's a lead magnet for your shop. An opportunity to, what I mean by lead magnet, in case you haven't, in case marketing is not your thing, what I mean by lead magnet is a sheet like a PDF that you can download from a website, that you have to enter your name and email address, for example, and then you can download this fact sheet, and then it has, the comparisons and has some really good information. And that has to be something that's really worth downloading, to make it worth people's time. But what that does is it helps you build your list of people who are potentially interested in this sort of thing, and then people that you can later send postcards to or emails to, or provide other information or follow up by phone. So it'll help you increase your sales for other services as well, while you're getting people's information.
Absolutely.
Okay. Fantastic. So, the main thing I think about MROs and everyone else is that if marketing is not your thing, there can be a big temptation to indulge in what we call random acts of marketing, right?
Which is not a good thing because it's expensive and doesn't get you any leads.
Exactly. So, you get a brochure from an advertiser of some sort for, Google AdWords or for postcards or for a trade show or for whatever, and you decide, that's a good opportunity to do some marketing, and you go do it without connecting it with everything else that you're doing. And in some cases, we've seen people send out postcards with a phone number that ends up, happening while their phone system is down, crazy things that happen because of random acts of marketing, because you really didn't plan it through and put it together so that your website is up. You've got a landing page for people that are responding to this this postcard or this brochure. Maybe when you go to a trade show, you have some kind of a call to action or a reason to follow up with people that's connected to your website, connected to your social media. You're using these things in a way that's all connected with each other. Just like when you're flying an airplane, there's always a next step. You're never done until all the pieces stop moving, right?
Marketing is the preface to sales.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what you do in marketing, somebody's going to have to pick up a phone and make a call.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And that's just the name of the game. And so you need to have somebody that's willing and able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start getting qualified leads and sales.
Right. And inbound calls as well, because whenever people run an ad, a lot of times those calls will come in. The person answering the phone has no idea what was on the ad. We've had that happen too.
Yes, we have.
Okay. So yeah, no random acts of marketing is really kind of the moral of the story for all of the things that we do. But once again, to really quickly summarize the big ideas from this episode, number one, focus on convenience, safety, and money, not just money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number two, the market really stinks right now for people selling aircraft, but that means it's really good for you right now if you're helping people keep their aircraft longer and be happier with it.
Right.
Okay. And then number three is the ADS-B opportunity.
Absolutely.
Right. So we do have, speaking of lead magnets, we have a tip sheet about marketing your MRO with some really good ideas from things that we've done, the different ideas that we had talked about and some of our recipes, if we call them that, for marketing your MRO. If you go to our website, that's abci1.com/MRO. You'll go to a page where you can enter your name and email address and download that tip sheet.
Right.
And that will come to you as a PDF. You can print it out, stick it on your wall, check things off as they get done, and make sure that you're doing what is, basically the industry best practices for marketing your MRO and getting more customers, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So every episode we like to talk about what's up with the insiders, and Yvonne Boniface just finished up the Aero Expo Panama Pacifico, got a lot of really good news coverage in the area and in the United States, with some press releases, some interviews on the news. He was doing some live video on social media, basically using all of the things that we recommend and doing a really good job of promoting the event. And this one was bigger and better and cooler than last year, which was their first annual.
Yeah, this is their second annual, and I haven't seen the numbers yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if it doubled or more in size.
Right. It's a really growing area. And if you're thinking about globalizing, or if you're thinking about expanding into a larger market, he's a really great guy to talk to, because he does business in Latin America, the Caribbean, South America. All of that is a really great, hugely growing opportunity for business aviation.
Yes, it is.
And all of the big guys were down there, JSSI and Embraer and the Rockwell Collins, and you can see the list of folks that were exhibiting there.
Gulfstream was there too, weren't they?
No, but HondaJet was.
Oh, HondaJet was, right.
Yep, and lots of folks. So really good stuff. Textron was with.
That's right.
Make a lot of different aircraft as well. So go sell more stuff.
America needs the business. Zig Ziglar is our favorite. Thanks.
Exactly. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play. And please do leave us a comment, especially on iTunes. We love to see comments there and ratings as well. That's our biggest opportunity for that. So if you like this podcast, do let us know what you'd like to hear. Once again, the MRO topic was suggested by a listener, so we're really happy to comply with listener requests. Just like old time radio, right?
That's right.
Okay. See you next week.
Ciao.
Thanks for joining us for Aviation Marketing Hangar Flying. the best place to learn what really works in sales and marketing in the aviation industry. Remember to subscribe on iTunes and leave a rating.
You could.